Hello and welcome to The Long View with me, Jon Jordan. Today we're asking the question, what went wrong with Mafia Wars? So Mafia Wars is, or perhaps more precisely was, it's been canned, Zynga's attempt to make a 4X game, so it's like a game of war type game, a kind of a base building management, heavy alliance type management game. It's been in soft launch since April, so about 3 months now, and Zynga have just announced that they're not going to continue with development and the servers will shut down on the 17th of September. So let's have a quick look through the game before we kind of ask what went wrong. So if you played Game of War or Mobile Strike or Final Fantasy 15 or any of those type of games from Polarium too, but mainly games from MZ, they're the most successful, you'll know the score. You do base building. At the moment I'm leveling up my building in my base. Not got enough resources, so I'm going to go into my inventory where I have some resources I can resources I can kind of use, some items. I can use 1 million cash there. I'm going to get the resources I need, then I can level up the next building in my leveling. So there's a big leveling loop of buildings. It's also, you have your basically your troops. In this case, in the Mafia game, they're kind of thugs. So I'm going to recruit some thugs. These are tasks you're constantly doing. Now I don't have any thugs because they all in hospital because my base got attacked, so I'm going to heal all the thugs that I've got. And then there's also a technology kind of research tree. So let's go and see what I can research. Boss strikes, no, I'm massively lacking in resources. Often, in these games, you're always resource constrained. I can go and do something else instead. So in this game, those are the 3 things you're doing. You're leveling up buildings, you're creating more thugs, and you're doing more research. Pretty much for anything you do in the game, you get some rewards because it's all very resource heavy. My boss is now leveled up now, so it's nice. So she's got 2 skill points I can use to kind of do, kind of improve her. So I can do energy and recruitment bribe. So that just kind of slightly increases her stats. I've done that Chem Lab update, so upgrade, so I'll get some more resources. But as you can see all the time, basically there's something else you can do. Get some obviously daily rewards. That's kind of pretty standard now, or very standard in a mobile game, free-to-play mobile game. I've got some rewards. So can I sell dime bags? I can't because there's something going on in the outside world. So as well as your base, there is the outside world, and really the only way you kind of deal with the outside world is alliances, or in this case, as they're called, Mafia. So that's the kind of big kind of setup for these games. You have this kind of stuff you're doing, always something to do within your base. You never, well, unless you're spending a lot of money, you're never leveled up there. I just spent some hard currency. This game, because it was in soft launch, has been very, very, very generous in its resource kind of giveaways. So I've got loads of resources. This is the outside base, so you can see different other people's bases I can go and attack, or there's just kind of environmental elements. So there's a store I can rob, so I'm going to send my boss, I'm going to send all my troops, and I'm going to get some fuel for that. That will take time. Obviously all these things are based around time as well. Obviously I can do speed ups. Just going to hit a 8-hour security there, so my base can't be attacked. As I say, this is all soft launch stuff. So the game was in soft launch testing in a few app stores, mainly the Canadian app stores, I guess the most popular. Yeah, so that's the kind of name of the game. That's what we've seen. In a sense, I guess the problem was, although the Mafia kind of thing has been a big kind of genre in iPhone games right at the start of the kind of the App Store era, not been a lot of Mafia stuff recently. So I guess Zynga thought, we've got this Mafia Wars kind of game that we've had in the past and shut down. It was fairly successful. Maybe we can use that brand. The Mafia stuff's different. I think the graphic stuff is much nicer. The menus and all that kind of stuff is nicer than the Game of War type games, which are a little bit kind of clunky. But the problem seems to be there's nothing really very new here. So I think in this 4X kind of scenario, if you're going to compete with MZ, who are clearly the market leaders, you have to be doing something potentially quite radical, I suppose. I don't know what that thing is, otherwise there'd be a game designer. But I think this game had a new brand and had kind of followed the template that you do in these games. And when Zynga looked at the metrics, so whenever any company puts a game in soft launch, they look heavily at the metrics. What are people doing? How long are they spending in the game? How are the alliance structure working? I mean, alliances are massively important in these type of games because that's really, there's no gameplay in these games. There's a lot of meta game, but it's kind of dull because you're just waiting for stuff to level up. And really where you get the big rewards is when you go into the alliance structure, because you start to do the daily task, and everyone in the mafia, in this case, gets rewarded, and that kind of drives you to do more of the daily stuff, and everyone gets more rewards, and then you get this kind of virtuous circle. So and then you have obviously events based around alliances, so kind of the heavy PvP structures are based around alliances, and that's really where you keep players coming back every day because they care about their alliance, even if they've never met them, or they care about their mafia in this case. And this is really where you get the monetization as well, because you start getting people spending, and there's, in a sense, light social pressure for people to spend even a little bit, because that helps the mafia, the alliance, the guild, whatever it's called. So I think this is where Zynga looked at Mafia Wars and kind of saw the mafia structure, the alliance structure wasn't really working out. I've been in quite a few alliances. You just got given loads of stuff. I mean, it was absolutely, it was great to be in an alliance. You got given loads and loads of these kind of items and speed up and stuff. But in a sense, that meant people weren't really working very hard, I don't think, for their mafia. Certainly, I wasn't particularly working very hard. You could help other guys out; that was quite easy to do, but it felt like a bit of a disconnect. So I think that was kind of where the game didn't quite match up to expectations. The other thing is, if you're going to compete with the likes of Game of War or Mobile Strike, it's very expensive. MZ spend hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising. Obviously, they do have these big ads with Arnold Schwarzenegger and that kind of stuff. And their new game, Final Fantasy 15, just come out. Obviously, Square Enix with the Square Enix kind of license, and that's doing pretty well already. It's already a top 50, top grossing game in the US. So MZ now have 3 very successful games, and you're going to compete against them and try and potentially take some of their audience away. And just maybe this wasn't a strong enough product, and that's what soft launch is there to do. It's for companies to build a game, test it, change it. Can they get it to the metrics that they want for it to be a successful product? It's very easy to make a mobile game at the moment, and a nice one, but really it's the marketplace that defines whether those games can be successful. And for businesses, Zynga is a proper business. It's floated on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. You can buy shares in Zynga. They can't just kind of waste money. They have to be very careful how they spend their money. So they decided they'd rather spend money on existing games. CSR Racing, Dawn of Titans, Zynga Poker, those games are pretty successful, or some of them are at least. So they decided they were going to spend their resources on those existing games rather than launch this new one, which in a sense is a shame, but equally it is a sensible business decision, and as gamers sometimes we don't think enough about the business behind the games that we play. Anyway, so this is Mafia Wars. It's apparently, well, it is actually still available on the Canadian App Store if you want to dash and download it. As I say, the servers will be switched off the 17th of September. In-app purchases are still available actually, but they'll be switched off pretty soon, I would imagine. But basically you have a couple of months if you want to investigate the game, which is, if you're interested in these kind of type of games, always worth kind of playing games and seeing how they're put together. And this is the long view, so we do videos about games we are playing, free-to-play mobile games. We do videos often about things we like, sometimes about the things we don't like, a bit of analysis. So if that's something you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe. You can also get us on Twitter, the long view, OO. And thanks for watching the video. Hope to see you again soon.
Hello, and thanks for watching to the very end of the video. If you have any comments, please put them in the comments box. We love to read your comments. And if you haven't subscribed already, the subscribe button is below. And don't forget to check out some of our other videos. There's 2 really good examples on the screen right now.